Hi everybody. Today I wanted to do a little video on just some sight reading. This is one of the things I do from time to time is, just try and find a piece of music that I'm not familiar with, but maybe by an artist that I like. Try and find some properly scored music and work my way through it. So today I'm looking at this song Ain't No Love by Carrack. I'm going to put up a transcription. There'll probably be something on YouTube in the link or whatever, certainly on my website. What I usually do with something like this is I kind of have a stepwise approach. I don't just start trying to play it. The first thing I do is make sure that it's in bass clef, which this piece of music is. The next thing I do is I have a look at the key signature, and I can see this one is it's got 4 sharps in it, so it's probably in the key of E major. That's one of the keys that has 4 sharps. I can confirm that as I look through the music a bit more carefully, and I look for which what sort of the main notes are, and yes, you can see it uses this low E a lot throughout. So yeah, key of E major. Then I sort of look for repeating themes, and I start to go through some of the signage to tell you how to actually read this thing. So as you look through it, you'll see repeat signs, so you've got to pay attention to that. Where the vocals come in, it's marked with vocal. I notice about halfway down on the first page, there's a sign, a thing that looks like kind of like an S with a line through it. And I also notice a bit further down on the first page, there's the words to coda. So as I'm reading through this, I'm just kind of memorizing where they are. Eventually at the top of the second page, I see DSL coda on the last bar there, which basically is saying del segne means go back to the sign. So when I hit that last bar, go back to the sign, the thing that looks a bit like an S, and then al coda means to take the coda when you see the words to coda. So I go back to the sign, keep playing. When I see to coda, which is on the second last line of the first page, then I go down to the last few bars on the last page where there's that circle with the cross through it, and that's the coda. So that's the sort of navigation of this thing. The next thing I do is I start to look for anything that's a little bit tricky, or just familiarize myself with the notes and the patterns. So at the very start there, I notice there's some really high notes, and I'm usually not too good above those top ledger lines. So the first note there is a B, and I'm thinking maybe I'm going to play it up here somewhere, and then there's a bit of a slide there up to an E, a high E. So I think I'll probably use this one here on the D string, something like sits up there. Then I see there's this little pattern that kind of repeats every second bar. And what it looks like, we've got an E and then an F, so it's going to be an F sharp, because this particular key signature, the key of E major, has 4 sharps. One of them's an F sharp, one of them's a G sharp, one of them's a C sharp, and one of them's a D sharp. So we've got a little pattern going here: E, F sharp, E, C sharp. So I'm going to use this C sharp up here and down to the B. And then looking at the main groove, lots of 2-bar repeats, so I can kind of glean from that this is a 2-bar groove that just kind of repeats throughout. And the timing of the first bar of the groove is 1 and 2 and then the second bar is pretty similar, except on the end of it we've got that little fill thing that I did before. So 1 and 2. Okay, that's the groove, and if you put the 2 bars together, then it's alright, and that happens a lot throughout the whole song. I do notice a bit later on there are some extra notes. Looks like down there by the sign we switch down to a C sharp, so I'm going to use this one, and it's just straight quavers. So 1 and 2 and 3, and then the forehand goes down to B, forehand, and then we go to D, and I notice it's a D natural, a whole bar of D natural quavers, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then back to our riff again. Looks like it doesn't do the second part of the riff when it does that, and then we go back to our C sharp again for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and D natural, 4, and then we're going down to a low F. I'm looking at the second last line on the first page, and notice this is an F sharp, of course, because we're in the key of E major. So we've got a bar of that, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we've got a bar of G, and I notice that this has got the natural sign in front of it, so I'm going to play a G natural. We've got about a bar and a half for that, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and then the last two beats we've got 3, and then there's a 4 on a high E that slides down, so 4. And that's pretty much it. That's all the grooves in the song. So we've got that little introduction thing starting here on the B, up to the E, and then we have this sort of main groove that goes on with the we've got the switch out there. We're coming into the at the sign, coming in with the C sharps, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3, 4. And that's pretty much it. So from that, I'm now going to have a shot at playing the whole thing. We'll see how we go. But that's my process.